You have been doing everything right. Saving every month, watching the number go up, feeling responsible, feeling in control. But here is what nobody told you when you started. Saving money and building wealth are not the same game. They never were. And the longer you play one while thinking you are playing the other, the further behind you fall. Today, I am going to show you exactly how to make the switch, without panic, without risking everything you have worked for. But make sure you stay with me, because the one mistake that costs most people years of growth is not what you think it is, and we're going to get to it. Let us start with numbers, because this is not an opinion, it is arithmetic. $10,000 in a typical savings account at 1% interest. After 20 years, you have $12,200. That same $10,000 invested in a simple index fund tracking the S&P 500, which has historically returned around 10% per year, after 20 years becomes $67,000. Same money, same 20 years, one person has $12,000, the other has $67,000. That gap, that $55,000 difference, is not luck. It's not talent. It's one decision made early. Psychologists call what keeps most people stuck loss aversion, a cognitive bias identified by Daniel Kahneman, showing that the pain of losing money feels twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. So we protect what we have instead of growing it. We choose the savings account not because it's smarter, but because it feels safer. And that feeling is quietly costing people decades of wealth. But here's what most people do not realize. Even when someone understands this math completely, they still don't move, and the reason has nothing to do with money. It has to do with how you see your money, separated into two buckets, mentally and practically. Bucket 1 is safety money. It doesn't move, it doesn't fluctuate. Its only job is to be there when life goes wrong. Bucket 2 is growth money. This one is allowed to go up and down because its entire job is to grow over time. The moment you genuinely see these as two separate things with two separate jobs, investing stops feeling like gambling because your safety is already protected in bucket 1. You're not risking your stability, you're growing something completely separate from it. Now here is where most people pause and say, I'll start when I have more. And that pause is exactly what keeps them behind. In 2012, a school teacher named Sylvia Bloom passed away and left nearly $9 million to charity. She had never earned more than a modest salary her entire life. No inheritance, no windfalls, just decades of quietly investing small amounts consistently and never touching it. She didn't wait until she had enough. She started with what she had, and time did the rest. Most platforms today let you start with $50. The amount at the beginning doesn't matter, the habit does, because habits compound exactly the way money does. And what you invest in matters more than how much you invest. This is where most people quietly destroy everything they've built, and they never see it coming. Most beginners hear about day trading, options plays, crypto plays, and think that's where real money is made. For the vast majority of people, it's actually where money disappears. Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor alive, has said repeatedly that low-cost index funds are the right choice for most investors. You're not betting on one company. You're investing in hundreds at once. When one falls, others hold it up. Lower risk, steady long-term growth. The boring strategy has consistently beaten the exciting one, every decade without exception. And now, once you understand that, here's the number that should stop you completely. $300 a month. Not a windfall, not a bonus, just $300 consistently every single month. At 8% annual return over 25 years, you end up with $285,000. But here's the part that doesn't feel real until you see it. You only put in $90,000 of your own. The other $195,000 came from growth, from compounding, from your money making money while you were sleeping, working, living your life. That's not a financial product. That's not a trick. That's time doing what time does when you stop interrupting it. But here's the problem. At some point, the market will drop. and everything you just felt reading those numbers will be replaced by something much darker. In March 2020, when COVID hit, the stock market lost 34% of its value in 33 days, the fastest crash in history. Headlines screamed collapse. People panicked. Millions sold everything and ran straight back to savings. By August of that same year, the market had fully recovered, and by the end of 2020, it was at record highs. The people who sold locked in their losses permanently. The people who stayed quiet and kept investing through the crash bought shares at the lowest prices in years, and when the recovery came, those shares were worth significantly more. Downturns are not disasters for patient investors. They are discounts. Saving money is like storing seeds in a glass jar, protected, safe. Nothing can touch them, but nothing grows either. Investing is putting those seeds in the ground. It looks messy at first, uncertain, nothing like you imagined, but give it time and what comes up is something far bigger than what you started with. Here's what this all comes down to. Saving gives you stability. Investing gives you freedom. And the moment you combine both, your financial future stops being something you worry about and starts being something you are actually building. If you watched our video on money psychology, you already know that the way your brain thinks about money is the biggest obstacle between you and wealth. Everything we covered today is the practical side of that same equation. The mindset and the method together is where everything changes. In our next video, we go into exactly why most people never start investing even when they know they should, and the one psychological shift that makes it finally click. You're going to want to see that one. Right now, one question. Drop it in the comments. What is the one thing that has stopped you from moving money from savings into the market? Not looking for perfect answers, just honest.